The encounter, the desert world was silent. Red sand stretched for miles, broken only by black rocks that rose like broken teeth. The wreck of a small human ship lay half buried in the dust. Smoke rose weakly into the air and sparks crackled from torn wires. Inside the wreck, a man moved. His name was Dr. Aaron Hale, a human explorer. His suit was torn, his body bruised, but he was alive. Slowly, he pulled himself from the broken metal and looked around. The planet felt empty. No birds, no wind, only silence. Aaron whispered to himself, "I need water, shelter, and a way to call for help." His voice sounded small in the endless desert. He began walking, step by slow step, toward the nearest ridge. Each movement hurt. His helmet visor showed only red sand and endless horizon. But then, a sound. At first, Aaron thought it was only the wind, a faint whisper in the silence. But the voice grew clearer. It was soft, childlike, human. Aaron froze. His heart pounded. The voice came again. Closer this time. "Human, I want you to be my father." Aaron turned quickly, scanning the desert. "Who's there?" he shouted. His voice echoed across the sand, but no answer came. Only the same whisper carried on the air, "Father." "Come to me," Aaron gritted his teeth. This was impossible. No humans lived here. No child should know his language. Was it a trick? A hallucination from his injuries? He forced himself forward, climbing the ridge. On the other side, his eyes widened. A figure stood in the valley below. It was a girl. She was small, maybe 10 or 11 years old. Her skin glowed faintly under the strange sun, pale with a silver tint. Her hair was dark, her eyes shining like two stars. She wore no helmet, no suit, yet she breathed the dry alien air with ease. Aaron's voice shook. "Who are you?" The girl tilted her head. A smile touched her lips. "I am Lyra, and you are my father." Aaron's blood ran cold. No, that's not possible. But the girl only stepped closer, barefoot on the sand. Her eyes never left him. "I have waited for you. I always knew you would come." Aaron took a step back. His training told him to stay alert, to treat this as a possible trap. No alien should look so human. No alien child should speak Earth's language so clearly. Yet there she was, real, alive, calling him father. The silence stretched between them. The desert seemed to lean in, listening. Finally, Aaron forced himself to speak.
"Listen to me carefully.
I am not your father. Do you understand?" Lyra's smile faded. But she did not cry. She only whispered again, "Human, call me your daughter, please." Something about her voice touched him. It was not command, not threat. It was a plea. Aaron shook his head. "No, I don't know who you are, or what you are, but you're not my daughter." The girl lowered her eyes. For a moment she looked small, fragile, like a real child. But then she lifted her gaze again, sharp and knowing. "You will see the truth," she said softly. "Even if you try to run, you cannot escape it." Aaron felt a chill. He looked around. No footprints in the sand. No ships, no machines. Only this strange child standing in a dead world. He whispered to himself, "This is not real. This cannot be real." But deep inside, he knew it was real. Too real. Lyra smiled again, gentle and patient. "Father, we have much to do." And then, as Aaron opened his mouth to demand answers, the desert wind rose at last, howling, heavy with dust. For a moment, the girl vanished in the storm, but her voice remained, carried on the wind. "Human, I am your daughter." The mystery child, the storm of red dust, passed slowly. When the air grew clear again, Aaron stood alone on the ridge, coughing into his broken helmet. His hands shook as he wiped the sand from his visor. But she was still there. The girl, Lyra. She stood at the bottom of the ridge, her silver-tinted skin glowing faintly in the fading light. Her eyes fixed on him, calm and unafraid, as if she had known this moment would come. Aaron's throat was dry. He forced himself to climb down toward her, step by step, keeping one hand near the small laser tool strapped to his belt. He was injured, alone, stranded, but he would not let his guard fall. When he reached her, she tilted her head again, watching him with a strange mix of curiosity and affection. "You came," she said softly. Aaron swallowed hard. "You're not real. You can't be real." Lyra's lips curved into a faint smile. I am real. I have waited for you. I knew you would find me. He shook his head. I don't even know who you are. I don't know what you are. And I am not your father. The girl did not argue. Instead, she sat down on the sand as if she had all the time in the universe. She began drawing lines in the dust with her finger. At first, Aaron thought it was random. Then he froze. Stars. She was drawing constellations, and not just any stars. They were human star maps, patterns from Earth's skies. Aaron's chest tightened.
How do you know that?
He demanded. She looked up. Because you showed me. Anger flared in him. No, I never met you before. I never showed you anything. But the girl only traced another constellation, whispering its name in a perfect human accent. Orion, Cassiopeia, Lyra. Aaron stepped back. He felt the desert spin around him. This was not possible. No alien child could know Earth's stars. Not like this. Not with such ease. His voice dropped to a whisper. Who taught you those names? You did, she said again, as if it were the most natural truth. For the first time, Aaron's resolve cracked. His heart gave a painful thump. She looked human, too human. And her voice, there was something familiar in it. Something that reminded him of long-forgotten nights back on Earth. When he had read stories to his wife before she passed, Aaron forced the thought away. Enough, he said sharply. Tell me the truth. What are you? The girl rose to her feet. She met his eyes without fear. I am your daughter. No, Aaron snapped. I never had a child. Not yet, she whispered. The word struck him like a blade. Not yet? What did that mean? Was this some kind of cruel trick? He looked around again. The desert stretched in every direction, endless and empty. No machines. No footprints. Nothing that explained her existence, and yet she knew. She knew things only a human would know. Lyra stepped closer, her small hand reaching toward his arm. Aaron almost pulled away, but he didn't. Her touch was warm, real. You don't have to be afraid, she said softly. I belong to you. And you belong to me. Aaron's mind raced. If this was a trap, it was the most perfect trap ever designed. If she was a lie, it was the most convincing lie he had ever seen. But deep inside, a seed of doubt grew. What if she was telling the truth? The desert sun lowered, painting the sky with fire. Shadows grew long across the sand. The silence pressed in, heavy and strange. Finally, Aaron pulled his arm away and turned from her. Stay away from me. Until I know what you are, I can't trust you. Lyra's voice followed him, calm and patient. You will see. You cannot deny me forever. Aaron stopped walking. His back stiffened. The wind whispered through the rocks, carrying her last words like a promise or a warning. I am your daughter, human. Even if you refuse me now. One day you will call me yours. Signs of humanity night came quickly on the alien desert. The sky turned black and 2 pale moons rose above the horizon. Aaron sat near the broken hull of his ship, trying to repair a small power unit with trembling hands. Sparks danced and died. His throat was dry, his body weak, but his mind would not rest. And the girl was still there. Lyra sat on a nearby rock, watching him in silence. Her silver-tinted skin reflected the moonlight, but her posture was strangely human, knees pulled close, chin resting on her arms, like any child waiting for a parent's attention. Aaron tried to ignore her, focusing on the wires in his hand. But soon he heard a sound, soft, gentle, familiar. She was humming. Aaron froze. The tune was simple, but he knew it. A lullaby from Earth. His wife had once sung it before bed long ago, before sickness took her away. His voice cracked. Stop that. Stop right now. Lyra tilted her head. Why? You used to like it. Aaron stared at her, his chest tight. How do you know that song? She only smiled as if the answer was obvious. Because it is yours. And mine. Aaron pushed the power unit aside and stood, anger rising. Enough, you are not my daughter. You're not even human. But even as he shouted, his voice broke. Because she looked human. She sounded human. And the way she gazed at him, soft, steady, filled with something like love, was painfully human too. Lyra slid off the rock and moved closer. She carried something in her small hands. Aaron tensed, expecting a weapon, but when she opened her palms, there was only a piece of sharp stone. On its surface, she had scratched a drawing. Aaron leaned closer despite himself. His breath caught. It was Earth, not perfect but clear, The blue-white sphere, the curved continents, the oceans. A rough but undeniable image of his home world. Aaron's voice lowered to a whisper. Where did you see this? In my dreams, she said softly. And in yours, Aaron's hands shook. He wanted to throw the stone away, deny it all. But part of him could not. Too many signs, too many small details that were impossible to explain. The song, the stars, the drawing of Earth. Aaron took a step back, his heart pounding. Someone put these things in you. You were made to trick me. Lyra's eyes darkened. No, I am not a trick. I am a child. I am your child. Her words echoed through the night. Aaron turned away, gripping his head. This was madness. He had crash-landed, lost his crew, and now some alien creation was tearing at his mind. But when he looked back at her, she was sitting again, carefully humming the same tune, as if nothing had happened. He whispered to himself, "This is impossible. This can't be real." Yet it felt real. Every sound, every glance, every small act of hers pushed against his doubts. The desert wind grew colder. Aaron wrapped his arms around himself and sat against the broken metal of his ship. For the first time, he felt less like a soldier, less like an explorer, and more like a man standing at the edge of something he could not understand. Lyra's voice drifted through the night, soft and calm. You can run from me, you can deny me, but I will always show you who I am. Aaron closed his eyes. He wanted to believe she was nothing but a hallucination. But deep down, a dangerous thought began to grow. What if she was telling the truth? Shadows watching, the moons drifted higher in the sky. The desert lay quiet, but Aaron did not sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he felt the weight of the strange child's gaze. Lyra sat not far away, drawing in the sand again. She hummed softly, the same lullaby, her silver skin glowing faintly in the moonlight. Aaron tried to focus on the stars above. He told himself he was imagining it all, but then, movement. Something flickered at the edge of the ridge, a shadow against the rocks. Aaron's muscles tensed. His hand went to the laser tool at his belt. Slowly, he rose to his feet. Stay here, he told the girl. Lyra looked up. Her eyes darkened, serious now. They are watching. Aaron froze. Who? She lowered her voice. The ones who made me. The ones who fear you. Before Aaron could ask more, the shadow moved again. A tall, thin figure slipped across the rocks, too smooth, too fast. Its body shimmered faintly, almost blending with the stone. Aaron raised his tool, pointing it toward the movement. His heart pounded in his chest. Show yourself, he shouted. Silence. The desert air grew colder, heavy. Aaron scanned the ridge, every nerve alert. He knew what he saw was not human, and he knew it was not alone. Then another flicker, this time above him. Another shadow crouched on the rocks, eyes glowing faintly green. Aaron's breath caught. What are they? Lyra's voice was calm, too calm for a child. They are the Watchers. They follow me. They follow you now. They do not want you to love me. Aaron turned sharply. Love you? I don't even know what you are. The shadows shifted again. This time he counted 3, tall, thin shapes surrounding them, moving closer with each flicker. Aaron aimed his tool, ready to fire. But before he could, Lyra stepped forward. No, she said gently. If you fight them, they will destroy you. They only watch. They cannot touch me. Not yet. Her words chilled him. Not yet. Always those words. Aaron gritted his teeth. Then why are they here? To make sure you do not accept me, Lyra whispered. Because if you do, everything changes. The shadows froze on the ridge, their glowing eyes fixed on him. Aaron's skin crawled under their stare. He felt like prey, cornered and judged. He shouted at them. What do you want from me? No answer, only silence. Only those cold green eyes. Finally, the shadows began to fade one by one, dissolving into the rock and sand as if they had never been real. Only the memory of their gaze remained. Aaron lowered his tool, his hands trembling. What are they? He asked again, his voice breaking. Lyra's expression was unreadable. They are the ones who made me from your blood. They gave me shape. They gave me life. But they cannot give me love. Only you can. Aaron stared at her, unable to breathe. His blood, his DNA? He wanted to deny it. He wanted to shout that it was all a lie. But the shadows were real. The song was real. The stars were real. And deep inside, fear tangled with something worse, something dangerous. A seed of belief. Aaron turned away, clutching his head. This is insane, all of it. I need to find a signal. I need to call for rescue. Lyra's voice followed him, soft but certain. You will not escape them or me. The Watchers know the truth, and so do you. Aaron stopped. His heart hammered. The night around him felt alive, filled with unseen eyes. And somewhere in the dark, far away, a faint metallic hum began to rise, like machines waking from a long sleep. Memories that aren't hers. The night grew colder. Aaron sat near the wreck of his ship, his arms crossed tight, his eyes fixed on the broken stars above. Sleep would not come. Every sound, every shadow reminded him of the Watchers. And then there was Lyra. She sat close to him now, her silver-tinted face calm, her small hands busy scratching shapes into the dust. She looked innocent. Too innocent. Aaron turned toward her. Tell me the truth. What are you? She lifted her eyes slowly. I already told you. I am your daughter. He clenched his fists. Stop saying that. I never had a child. Lyra tilted her head, studying him with unnerving patience. Then in a soft voice she said, Your father's name was Thomas. Your mother's name was Elise. They lived near the Green River in a small wooden house with blue windows. Aaron's blood ran cold. His parents' names. His childhood home. No one here could know that. No alien, no machine. Not even most of his crew back on Earth. How do you know that? He stammered. Lyra only smiled faintly. Because your memories are mine. Aaron shook his head. No, that's not possible. But Lyra kept speaking, her voice calm, almost like a lullaby. You used to climb the apple tree behind the house. You fell once and broke your arm. You cried, but your mother held you until you slept. Aaron's knees weakened. He staggered back, gripping the side of the wreck. His chest felt tight, his breath unsteady. These were not things she could guess. These were moments buried deep inside him, memories he had not spoken of in years. Stop it, he whispered. Stop it right now, but Lyra continued. And when you grew older, you met her. The woman you loved. Her name was Clara. She laughed at your terrible jokes. She made you feel alive again after the war. Aaron's throat tightened. He saw Clara's face in his mind. The face he had lost to sickness, the face he still dreamed of in silence. He pointed at Lyra, his hand shaking. No one could know that. Lyra stood slowly, her eyes glowing faintly in the moonlight. I know because you are part of me. Your blood, your memories, your pain, they live inside me. I carry them because I am yours. Aaron's body trembled. His mind screamed at him to reject it, to call her a liar, to call her a trick. And yet the details were too precise, too sharp. This was not guesswork. These were his memories. He forced his voice to rise. If this is true, then why? Why would anyone put my memories into you? Lyra stepped closer, her gaze piercing. Because they wanted me to know you. They wanted me to love you. But they cannot give me what I need. Only you can, Aaron's heart pounded. And what do you need? She whispered. For you to accept me. The desert air felt heavier. His head swam. None of this made sense. If she was telling the truth, then he was connected to her in ways beyond understanding. If she was lying, then someone or something was using his very soul against him. Aaron backed away, shaking his head. No, you're not my daughter. You're not. You're just a machine, a puppet, a copy. Lyra did not flinch. Instead, she looked almost sad. If I am only a puppet, then why do you feel pain when I speak? Why do you remember with me? Aaron froze. Because it was true. Her words tore open old wounds, and the feelings were too strong to deny. Silence stretched between them. The Watchers were gone, but their presence lingered like unseen eyes in the night. Finally, Lyra whispered again, almost like a promise. You will see. You cannot hide from yourself, and you cannot hide from me. Aaron's breath came ragged. He turned away, unable to face her anymore. But her words sank deep into his heart, twisting like roots. Memories that weren't hers. Memories that weren't supposed to be shared, yet somehow they were. The hidden lab, the desert stretched endless, but Aaron no longer saw just sand. His mind swirled with Lyra's words, with memories that should never have left his own head. Every step he took away from her, those memories followed. By dawn, he forced himself to act. He could not keep listening to her. He needed answers. Solid, real answers. Dragging what equipment he could carry, Aaron left the wreck and walked toward the dark ridge to the east. The rocks there rose jagged, strange, like broken towers. Something about them felt wrong, too precise, too shaped. Lyra followed in silence, her small steps quiet on the sand. Aaron turned sharply. "Why are you still here?" She looked at him with calm eyes. "Because you cannot find the truth without me." Aaron wanted to snap at her, but deep down part of him feared she was right. The ridge loomed closer. The rocks glimmered faintly under the morning light, their surface too smooth in places, as if carved. Aaron pressed his hand against one wall. To his shock, the stone was cold metal beneath a thin skin of sand and dust. His heart jumped. This isn't rock. It's structure. He searched along the wall until his fingers brushed a faint seam. He pushed, the ground rumbled. Slowly, a section of the wall slid open, revealing a dark passageway leading underground. Aaron stepped back, his laser tool raised. "What is this?" Lyra's voice was steady. "The place where I was born." Cold air drifted from the passage, carrying the faint smell of metal and age. Aaron swallowed hard and stepped inside. The walls were smooth, lined with faint glowing strips that flickered as if waking from long sleep. They descended a ramp into the darkness. Aaron's boots echoed on the floor. His visor scanner flashed, trying to make sense of the strange signals. He read faint traces of human design, mixed with something else. The deeper they went, the more it felt like entering a grave. Finally, the passage opened into a vast chamber. Machines stood in silence, their surfaces coated in dust. Transparent tanks lined the walls, most shattered, filled with nothing but fragments. Aaron's blood turned to ice. He recognized the design, human bioengineering tanks. He had seen them in research facilities on Earth. One tank remained whole. Inside floated a faint outline of a childlike form, abandoned long ago. Aaron's voice cracked. This is impossible. How could these be here?" Lyra stepped beside him. "Because they brought your blood here. They built this place. They made me." Aaron's hands shook as he moved to a console. Against all hope, it still flickered to life. Ancient files glowed on the screen, text shifting between alien code and human script. He scrolled. His stomach twisted. Project Daughter. The words burned into his eyes. Files described experiments to merge human DNA with alien traits. Notes about strength, intelligence, survival, and then his name, DNA source, Dr. Aaron Hale. The world tilted. He staggered back, nearly falling. His knees hit the floor. "No," he whispered, this can't be real. But it was there, clear as truth. His DNA, his memories, his life stolen and used. Lyra knelt beside him, her small hand resting on his arm. "Now you see. I am not a lie. I am part of you. I was made from you." Aaron's body shook with rage, grief, and fear all tangled together. "They used me. They made you." "Without my choice," Lyra's voice softened. "They made me, but only you can make me whole." Aaron stared at her, his heart torn. Around them the machines hummed faintly, as if remembering old purpose. Shadows stirred in the corners, too still to be only shadows. And for the first time Aaron realized he was not just stranded. He was standing inside a secret that could change everything. For him, for Earth, for the universe. The enemy revealed, the chamber lights flickered. Machines that had been silent for years hummed again, faint sparks crawling across the old consoles. Aaron's hands gripped the edge of the terminal. His name still glowed on the screen, burned into his mind. He turned to Lyra, his face pale. "They stole my blood. They built you." Why me?" Lyra's silver-tinted eyes softened. "Because you were strong. Because you were alone. They thought you would never care. But they were wrong." Before Aaron could answer, the air shifted. A low hum echoed through the chamber. Metallic, unnatural. Shadows gathered at the far wall. From the darkness, tall figures stepped forward. Their bodies were thin, too thin, their skin like black glass. Their eyes glowed a steady green, the same as the watchers on the ridge. Aaron's chest tightened. He counted 4 of them, moving with eerie grace, their feet never seeming to touch the floor. Lyra stood calmly, as if she had been waiting. "They have come." Aaron raised his laser tool, his voice harsh. "Stay back." The watchers did not stop. Their voices filled the air, deep and layered, as if many mouths spoke at once. "You are trespassing, human." Aaron aimed at the nearest one. "What are you?"
Why did you use me?
The voice answered, calm, heavy with authority. You were chosen. Your blood was useful. From it we built the hybrid, the child. Aaron's stomach twisted. You mean her? He pointed toward Lyra. The Watcher's eyes burned brighter. Yes, she is ours. Lyra stepped forward, her small frame unshaken. No, I belong to no one. The Watchers hissed, the sound sharp like metal tearing. You are a weapon. That is your purpose. Aaron's grip tightened on his tool. His voice shook with fury. She is not a weapon. She's a child. The Watcher's green eyes fixed on him. Your feelings make you weak. Do not let them grow. She was not made to love. She was made to destroy. Lyra's face tightened, pain flickering in her eyes. But she raised her chin. I will not destroy. I will not be what you want. The Watchers stepped closer, circling. Their shadows stretched long across the chamber floor. Aaron moved to block Lyra, keeping her behind him. One Watcher leaned forward, its voice colder. Do not protect her, human. She is not yours. She never will be. Aaron's heart pounded. He should run. He should hide. But something deep inside him, anger, defiance, perhaps even love, held him in place. He raised his tool higher. If she's not mine, then why does she carry my memories? Why does she call me father? The Watchers did not answer at once. The silence was heavy, suffocating. Finally the voice came again. Because we allowed it. Because pain binds you to her. It makes you hesitate. It makes you weak. Aaron's teeth clenched. Or maybe it makes me stronger. The nearest Watcher hissed again, its form rippling like smoke. If you choose her, you choose death. Hand her over, human, or you will not leave this place alive. The chamber lights dimmed, casting long shadows. Aaron felt Lyra's small hand clutch his arm. Her voice was soft but steady. Do not let them take me, please. His mind screamed with doubt. They were powerful. He was injured, stranded, almost weaponless, and yet he looked into her eyes. Eyes that carried his memories. Eyes that looked at him not as a weapon but as a daughter. Aaron's voice came out like steel. If you want her, you'll have to go through me. The Watchers moved closer, their forms glowing brighter. The air shook with their power, but Aaron stood his ground. His finger tight on the trigger, and Lyra whispered the words that froze his heart. Father, this is where it begins. Escape and bond, the chamber trembled. The Watchers closed in, their green eyes glowing brighter, their thin bodies shifting like smoke made solid. Aaron gripped his laser tool, his pulse racing. He was outnumbered, outmatched, but he would not step aside. Lyra stood close behind him, her small hand clutching his torn sleeve. For the first time, Aaron realized how fragile she seemed. Not a weapon, not a creation, a child. The Watchers spoke as one, their layered voices echoing. Surrender the child, she is not yours. Aaron raised the tool. Over my dead body. Before the Watchers could move, the ground shook. A deep rumble spread through the lab. Cracks split across the chamber floor, dust raining from the ceiling. The old machines groaned and sparked, alive for the first time in years. Lyra gasped. They are waking the lab. They will bury us here. Aaron didn't wait to argue. He grabbed Lyra's hand. Run! They sprinted across the chamber, the Watchers gliding after them. Shadows stretched long on the walls, reaching like claws. Aaron fired his laser tool. Blue light cut through the dark, striking one Watcher and shattering its form into smoke. But the others kept coming unharmed. Faster! Aaron shouted. They rushed into the passageway. The walls pulsed with strange light, the hum of alien power rising like a storm. Behind them, the Watchers' voices hissed through the tunnels. You cannot escape. She belongs to us. Aaron pulled Lyra forward, his lungs burning. His injuries screamed, but he refused to slow down. The child's grip was steady, her small legs running with surprising strength. At last, they reached the surface. The desert sun blazed overhead, fierce and hot. Aaron stumbled into the light, pulling Lyra beside him. The ridge collapsed behind them, burying the entrance in a roar of dust and stone. For a long moment, Aaron could only breathe. Sand stung his face and sweat dripped down his brow. But they were alive. Lyra looked up at him, her silver skin glowing under the sun. You saved me. Aaron shook his head. No, we saved each other. She tilted her head, studying him. You protect me. Even when you are afraid. Aaron met her gaze. He wanted to deny it. He wanted to tell her it meant nothing. But the truth slipped past his guard. Because you're just a child. No matter what they say, no child deserves to be their weapon. Lyra's lips curved into the faintest smile. She sat in the sand, drawing a star with her finger. Then she looked at him with a softness that made his chest ache. Maybe you are my father after all. Aaron turned away, scanning the horizon. He could not let himself believe that, not yet. But her words clung to him like chains he could not break. The desert wind howled. In the distance, a dark shimmer moved across the dunes. Watchers still hunting, their green eyes burning through the haze. Aaron's jaw tightened. They would not stop. Not until they had her. He crouched beside Lyra. We can't stay here. We'll move at night when it's cooler. We'll find shelter, maybe a way to send a signal. Lyra nodded, her expression calm. She reached out and placed her hand on his chest, just above his heart. As long as you are with me, I am not afraid. Aaron froze. Her words were simple, but they struck deep. It had been years since anyone had said something like that to him. Years since he had felt needed. For the first time, he allowed himself to rest his hand gently on her shoulder. Not as a soldier, not as a prisoner of fate, but as something closer to what she wanted him to be. Her father. The moment passed quickly. He stood scanning the dunes again. Come on. We move before they catch us. Lyra rose, her small figure steady against the vast desert, and as they walked together into the blazing horizon, Aaron knew the bond had already begun, whether he wanted it or not. The final choice. The desert night was colder than Aaron expected. The heat of day had vanished, leaving the dunes silver under the light of 2 moons. Aaron and Lyra sat beside a small fire made from scraps of his wrecked ship. Sparks danced upward, swallowed by the endless sky. Aaron's body ached, but it was his mind that hurt more. The Watchers were still out there. Their green eyes haunted the horizon, always watching, always waiting. He knew they would come again. Lyra sat across from him, her knees pulled close, her silver skin glowing faintly in the firelight. She hummed softly, that same human lullaby. Her eyes, calm and steady, never left his face. Finally, Aaron spoke, his voice rough. Why do you keep calling me father? Even after everything I've said? Lyra tilted her head. Because you are. Even if you don't see it yet. Aaron clenched his fists. They made you. They stole my DNA, my memories, and forced them into you. That doesn't make you mine. Her small voice cut through the silence. And yet, you protect me. You care when I am afraid. You feel pain when I feel alone. If I am not yours, then why do you fight for me? Aaron opened his mouth to argue, but nothing came. He stared at the fire, the flames reflecting in his eyes. The truth burned deeper than he wanted to admit. Before he could answer, the air shifted. The fire flickered. A cold hum swept across the dunes. The Watchers had come. Shapes rose from the sand, tall and thin, their glowing eyes fixed on the 2 figures by the fire. This time there were more of them, 6, maybe 7, circling like hunters around prey. Aaron jumped to his feet, pulling Lyra behind him. His laser tool hummed weakly in his hand, its charge nearly empty. The Watchers' voices filled the night, layered and sharp. Human, the time is over. The child belongs to us. Step aside, Aaron shouted back. She's not your weapon. She is not your daughter, the voices replied. She never will be. Lyra clung to his arm. Her voice trembled, but her eyes shone. Don't let them take me, please. Aaron's chest tightened. He could barely breathe. He was one man, broken and stranded, standing against creatures that could not die. Logic told him to surrender. To give Lyra away, save his own life, and hope for rescue later. But when he looked down at her, small, trembling, yet brave, he felt something stronger than logic. Memories flashed in his mind. His parents' house by the river. His wife's smile. The laughter of a family he had lost long ago. And now this child, holding on to him as if he were the only thing keeping her alive. Maybe he hadn't chosen her. Maybe he hadn't asked for her. But she was here, and she was his. Aaron raised his chin, his voice steady for the first time. No, she is mine, the Watchers hissed, their forms rippling with fury. You choose death, human. Aaron stepped forward, putting himself between them and Lyra. Then so be it. The air shook. The Watchers advanced, their green eyes burning like fire. Aaron's tool was ready, but his strength was nearly gone. Behind him, Lyra whispered, her voice breaking with emotion. Father, call me your daughter. Say it, please. Aaron's heart pounded. He felt the weight of the universe pressing down on him, demanding his choice, and as the Watchers closed in, he finally answered, Not with fear, not with doubt, but with truth. Yes, you are my daughter. Lyra's eyes widened. A single tear glowed silver on her cheek. The fire flared, the ground trembled, and something deep inside her awakened. Something the Watchers had feared all along. Yes, my daughter. The desert shook. The fire blew out, leaving only the glow of 2 moons above. Aaron stood with his arms stretched wide, shielding the girl behind him. His words still echoed in the cold air. Yes, you are my daughter. The Watchers froze. Their green eyes flickered, unstable, as if his words had cracked something inside their strange forms. The air hummed with pressure, the kind that bends stone and rattles bones. Behind Aaron, Lyra trembled, but not with fear. A new light grew in her silver eyes, bright and fierce like stars being born. The sand at her feet began to ripple, lifting grain by grain into the air. The Watchers hissed. No, she is ours. She is weapon, not child. Aaron turned toward them, his face hard with defiance. No, she is mine. My blood, my memory, my daughter, and you will never take her. The ground split beneath them. Energy pulsed from Lyra's small body, waves of silver light crashing outward. The Watchers staggered, their thin forms flickering, their voices shattering into screams. Aaron shielded his eyes from the light. He had never seen such power, raw and untamed. But through the chaos, he felt her hand clutch his once again. Small, warm, human. Lyra's voice rang clear, no longer soft, no longer afraid. I am not your weapon. I am not your tool. I am my father's daughter. The Watchers shrieked as the silver light burned through them. One by one, their shapes shattered into clouds of black smoke, dissolving into the desert wind. The night grew still again, save for the echo of their final scream. You will regret this, human. Silence. Aaron opened his eyes slowly. The Watchers were gone. The dunes lay quiet, the fire reduced to dying embers. Only he and Lyra remained, standing together in the cold night. Aaron looked down at her. She swayed on her feet, drained, her glow fading. Without thinking, he knelt and caught her in his arms. Her voice was weak but steady. You said it. You called me your daughter. Aaron held her close, his throat tight. Because it's true. She smiled faintly, silver tears tracing her cheeks. Then I am not alone anymore. Aaron's heart ached. For years he had carried loss, emptiness, silence. But in that moment, holding her, something inside him healed. Something he thought was gone forever. He whispered, no, you'll never be alone again. Not while I live. The night stretched on, quiet and vast. The stars above seemed brighter, almost watching. Aaron laid Lyra gently on the sand, wrapping her in his torn jacket. She closed her eyes, exhaustion overtaking her, but her hand never let go of his. For the first time in years, Aaron did not feel like a wanderer or a broken man. He felt like a father. He stared at the horizon where the first light of dawn began to rise. Somewhere out there, more Watchers would come. More enemies would hunt them. But it no longer mattered, because now he had a reason to fight. He looked down at Lyra again, brushing a strand of dark hair from her glowing face. Rest now, daughter. Tomorrow we keep moving. Her lips curved into the faintest smile, even in sleep. Aaron lifted his gaze to the sky, where Earth's constellations seemed to shimmer in patterns he once taught her, and for the first time since his crash, he whispered not in despair but with strength. They thought they made a weapon. Instead, they gave me a daughter. The desert wind carried his words far into the dawn, and the man who once stood alone now walked into the rising light, no longer just a human explorer, but a father and no longer alone in the universe.